So earlier I was trying to connect with my Instagram, using the Downtown Alliance website. I'm Nelson Alan Ferry, and there's an internet called Downtown Alliance website. Wi-Fi. It's called the Downtown Alliance. And it told me I was connected, but I couldn't log into my Instagram. It was so slow. So apparently I'm not really connected well to the internet, and to I couldn't log into my any of my internet website. You know, then I was listening to WABC radio on my earphone. Let me just show you. You know.
Adams on the parade planned for next January to honor our post 9/11 veterans. Better late
So
than
there's
never.
That's the Jewish American broadcaster. And I was saying no, 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 no. They was talking about, somebody's shoe socks is showing. So the camera's recording me. So a white lady came here and she was screaming at like 6 a.m. Today's May 27, 2025. And I woke up shaking. And she was like, "You with the umbrella, I know you," or something. "I know who you are. Don't think I don't know you." And it sounded like the same white lady that followed me to the bathroom and was saying cocksuckers and stuff. As I was using the bathroom, I went and called the police on me. And as I was going to the bathroom, you know, I was listening to this WABC radio, and it was the Black American radio host, and it was saying something like cut, cut, don't, cut, cut. As I was approaching the bathroom, it's anxiety. They had a little kid sitting by the elevator entrance, and I almost ran my cart into the kid. Cause that little kid was sitting there, was like a Spanish kid, close to the elevator door. I couldn't really see the kid very well. And as soon as I went to the bathroom, then this Indian guy came. I said, I started banging on the door, telling me to leave. So you're not a real woman. Then I told him I'm a transsexual, and he begrudgingly allowed me to use the bathroom. Then this white female came. Some of the same white female that came around me this morning. She said, "I always see her hang out with some Black Americans, they always sleep over there and stuff. I don't know if they're all undercover agent." And she was saying, "Oh, these cocksuckers, I don't want them around me and stuff." I said, "Who are you referring to?" I said, "I'm not referring to you." And she responded, "I'm not referring to you, I'm referring to some other people." Then they brought this Black American police. Said I was creating trouble in the bathroom. And those Black American police were acting wild. They wouldn't, at one point, they were pointing towards their own penis or something. And they wouldn't let me, they wouldn't give me their badge number, wouldn't give me their business card, wouldn't record the incident early. So it's like they're just setting me up to be killed. They said this now, and their news media and their police are involved in an association whereby they claim they're trying to help the community and prevent crimes. But what they're doing is covering up crimes against immigrants. My mother reached out to the media, said the police took her home and they were terrorizing me and my mother all over Staten Island. And she reached out to WB11 News. And they promised to help her, they never helped her. Soon after that, my friend Uganda was killed trying to help me and my mother. And they said another black male was killed close to, because when I met Uganda across the boat there on Staten Island, this is Manhattan, terminal of the Staten Island Ferry, he told me there's a court order for a case called Floyd versus City of New York, saying that the police can't just bother you because you're black, take your home without a search warrant, come into your house without a search warrant. And he told me when the police came into our home, did they have a search warrant? I said no. So first I went to our home, so you're good. They have no right to evict you without a search warrant. He said there's a court case called Floyd versus City of New York. And right before he could help me, the police went and choked him dead. Even though I was in an apartment, I moved my belongings into near that area. The landlord was Nigerian, blew the apartment into pieces, and people were saying it was for insurance fraud purposes. And before the landlord blew the apartment to pieces on Canal Street, I believe the address was 219 Canal Street, near where the killer regarded. The landlord left me a voicemail laughing. I was like, why did the landlord leave me a message laughing? And the next day, the whole apartment was being blown to pieces. So they've been using. My mother accused the police of being terrorists, of terrorizing black lives. And since then it's been terror. My apartment was blown to pieces in that 2014, and they went and killed a gardener close to my birthday. That's in 2014. So the Nigerian landlord that rented me in the place near where the kid gardener, he must have known that that the police were all about terrorizing me, and they must have instructed them to blow up the apartment in pieces, and the fire department wouldn't stop the fire, and people were screaming, "Fire department, stop the fire!" The house is burning. There were kids next door in the daycare. They all came out. Their lungs were filled with smoke, and the fire department wouldn't stop the fire. They wanted my apartment to burn down because I had evidence in my apartment, my passport, I had my green card visa. I was trying to sue the U.S. immigration at the time that they that when I came into America with my mother, I had a green card stamp, but the immigration arrested me and said children are no longer allowed in America. So I was emailing the lawyers at that time. So I had my green card, my passport with the visa. That I should have had a visa when the immigration arrested me wrongfully. So I didn't have a visa, and because of that, they don't allow children in America without visas and stuff. And so and the lawyer didn't want to help me. So I told him I have the passport and visa in my apartment on Staten Island, and the landlord blew up my apartment in pieces, and my passport and visa disappeared. So I was like, why would a Nigerian? Because that Nigerian was like a British Nigerian. I think he has an American passport. And for the life of me, I said, why would a Nigerian landlord blow up an apartment and steal my Nigerian passport? Because I believe he was an American citizen. I said, why would somebody steal a Nigerian passport from me? Usually people steal American passport. Why would you steal a Nigerian passport in America? So I was like, maybe it was just mistakenly stolen. Until they went and killed Erigana after that. They were just, stealing my evidence, obstructing justice. And Erigana mentioned Judge Floyd and talked about the Floyd case, Floyd versus City of New York in 2013. There was a case that said the police should stop harassing black lives, and they said the police on African Liberation Day choked a Floyd, a guy named Floyd in Brooklyn, Minnesota, and they also came to New York and choked me, the NYPD choked me in close to Erigana's, close to my birthday in July 23rd, 2019, and stole my green card. So they were just all about it. They said they were laughing when they choked Erigana. They were laughing when they choked me also. And even the Judge Floyd family has been saying they believe, this their son's death, or their family members' death. Judge Floyd, his mother was dead already before they killed him. They said they believe that their family members' death is connected to a pattern of police killings. But nobody really wants to help me. Nobody talks to me. I'm a Nigerian. Everybody just ignores me. But it's not starting to make sense. It's not starting to make sense. So they're sending a white woman, to terrorize me, and then they'll call the police on me. So I believe they want to assassinate me, and then steal all my possessions, claim I'm either in a sex cult, and I authorize the sex cult to take all my money. They know my mother's daughters killed my mother. My mother said her daughters are part of a gang, Bolani and Flora. And my mother said her daughter, Funke in Nigeria. My mother said that Funke tried to kill me when I was a baby, threw me out of the window. So they know I have nobody to stand up for me. So they were trying to assassinate me as a Nigerian. They're stealing my Nigerian passport, stealing my green card visa that I was going to use to U.S. immigration. So they believe, they are being bullies, and they believe, I'm just a weak immigrant, and it's so easy to destroy and steal all my property. As a matter of fact, I was trying to use the bathroom here, and they went and locked up the bathroom, and I was just screaming, why would you do this? Lock up the men and women's bathroom. And then I had to go all the way to Staten Island, and there they were required to leave the ferry, and the exit out of the ferry was very slopey, and so my tires almost fell off, because it was very difficult for me, and then there was this guy named Lionel on ABC Radio. I was listening, WABC Radio 770. Today's May 27, 2025. So I guess, they have the FBI that protect the radio station, because one of their radio staff called Curtis Lewer, I used to listen to him when I was in immigration prison in 2000. They said somebody was trying to kill him and was shooting at him, the Italian mafia. And so since they've been having FBI protect the radio station. So I believe they're sharing my information with the radio staff, my surveillance information, since I've been arrested by Immigration 2000. So now that I'm trying to sue the NYPD, my mother is dead also. Our own daughter's friend mental illness owner. While she was having a heart problem, I'm getting treated at the hospital, Bellevue. The daughters came from Pennsylvania and told the hospital to lock her up in the psych ward instead. To get my mother angry, my mother said her daughters were trying to kill her early so they could inherit all any assets because me and my mother were suing the police at the time. Our daughters never lived with us in Staten Island. They were living in Pennsylvania. So it was only me and my mother that was entitled to money because it was just me and my mother that was evicted by the police. So our daughters were just trying to kill my mother early so that they could inherit any money that belongs to my mother, and hopefully, and hoping that I will also die from heartbreak because I was very close to my mother and the last born, and stuff. So, and also, and my mother said our daughters were into insurance fraud, especially that Bolani was moving with like a narcotic gang from Pennsylvania. And within 1 year after my mother told me that she went to stay with that Bolani, my mother turned up dead. She was having serious heart problem. So that Dolani was lacing her food with like car antifreeze poison or marijuana. So that Dolani was lacing her food with something. And anytime that Dolani gave her food to eat, anytime she eats that food, my mother said her heart would start paining her. And she fled to New York to go to the hospital. Then that Dolani came with her other sister to the hospital to remove my mother from the cardiac unit and go and place her in the psych ward. Just to give that whatever poison she put in my mother's heart to give more time to work on my mother and kill my mother. So my mother got so angry that why would they put her in the psych ward even though my mother passed the mental health test? So out of that aggravation, my mother died. And I guess they must have disconnected my mother's breathing too because she was in the cardiac unit, ICU, on life support, and because that poison was wrecking my mother's body, that Bolani must have put in my mother's food. So they disconnected my mother from the breathing machine. And so, but while they were trying to transfer to the psych ward, so I guess without being able to breathe properly, it was easier to kill her. And since then, there's been all these basketball players, Indiana Pacers versus Knicks, and they've been holding their throats. One of their basketball players from Pacers, holding their throat like in a chokehold. Since my mother has been dead, the people have also been choked. Eric Garner was choked. So it's like they choked my mother dead because my mother called the NYPD terrorist, terrorizing black lives. And since then, they've been the police also came and choked my friend Eric Garner. Eric Garner mentioned the name of a Floyd. Eric Garner mentioned the Floyd case, which was a Floyd here in New York City that sued the police department. And they said they found a Floyd in Minnesota and choked him also on African Liberation Day. So it's like all this ABC radio want to cover it, and they're hiring a white female. She moves with some black Americans. They're also over there to terrorize me. And she came near me today. She was like, I know who you are. You're hiding under the umbrella. I know you. And she's not like the same white female that came into the bathroom and called the police on me. And those black American police wanted to kill me. So they're assassinating people. And I think they think if they can kill me, they can get all the money for themselves and claim I'm part of a sex cult and authorize strangers to take my money. So they know my mother's daughters won't be able to fight that because they can just put them in prison for killing my mother. Because I was on FBI surveillance when my mother was calling me on the phone from Pennsylvania. That Bolani is putting drugs in her food, in my mother's food, and my mother said my heart is paining that she's going to escape soon and come back to New York. And within a year, my mother turned up dead. And that Bolani said she doesn't want to do an autopsy. Because, I wanted to do an autopsy, and that Bolani stole my mother's corpse and went and dumped it in New Jersey. Even though my mother never lived in New Jersey, didn't want to be buried in New Jersey. She wanted to be buried in New York or in Nigeria. My mother's funerals was very important to my mother. She always attends other people's funerals and stuff. So they said the law enforcement here, there was a report done that, that the NYPD and LAPD and the Chicago police, they are in a research with the FBI to find the most poor blacks and torture them and to see how that torture impacts their family. So since then they've choked I believe they must have choked my mother dead. They've also choked my friend Eric Garner. And Eric Garner mentioned the name Floyd. They went to Brooklyn, the police department in Brooklyn, Minnesota, choked a Floyd. Close to Eric Garner's death also, they choked him in May. My mother was killed on May 20. They said they choked this Floyd in May 25, which is African Liberation Day in America. But a lot of the blacks here the civil rights activists don't really help me. So they're sending whites to incite trouble against me, all kinds of ethnicity. And they said, they're banning, luggages from the subway. Only whites can bring in luggages. They said, because I put my luggage in the stroller. Even though there's a law that says, I have a disability, that's why I push the stroller. I have anemia. They're supposed to give me a walker, but they didn't give it to me. So the anemia makes me dizzy. So I use the stroller to balance and to carry my property, because without the stroller, I would fall down, I would become weak and fall. There was a lady from like Guatemala, she must have had anemia. She arrived in America through the Mexican desert, and they said she fell down on her own into the train track and died. And they don't know why she fell, collapsed. I suspect she has anemia. So she spent many months not eating right in the Mexican jungle trying to cross to America. So my diet has been very poor in America and elsewhere in Nigeria also. So I have low blood counts, I get tired a lot. So I use this as my medical device, and they said the only one little baby is on the stroller. Under New York law, you can't discriminate based on age. Even though I'm a grown, little babies, they use this to push them around because little babies can't walk. I use this to walk also because I get dizzy. So being that I'm 43 years old, they say you can't discriminate based on age in New York. And also, they said the only wants women to be pushing little babies in a stroller. I'm a transgender, I can't birth a child, and you can't discriminate based on family status. And my stroller doesn't bother them. So they're just picking on me since last year, changing all the laws, and there's a Title 18 of Section 242 that says you can't change the laws to punish somebody. It's a crime. So this Governor Oko and Eric Adam Mayor, they need to arrest them for breaking the law. And also, I applied for a food stamp card last year in November, and they told me they took my picture, said they're going to send me a card with my picture on it. I was like, cool, because I need a photo ID. And they never sent me the card. So I went to the food stamp office like, look, in November last year, I was like, look, I need a photo ID. You took my picture, and they were telling me, their computer is down. That's why they can't give me a photo ID. Told me to keep waiting. All of a sudden, by the next month, they told me no more photos allowed in your food stamp card, and gave me a photo a food stamp card without photo ID. The problem now is I've been trying to get a driver's license to be driving Uber, and they say you have to have a photo ID to get a driver's license. My green card has been stolen. They choked me in 2019. The police choked me and took my green card. So I don't have any photo ID, and and the food stamp card that they're supposed to put my photo in, they took my picture, and they didn't put my picture on the food stamp card. They changed the rule on me within a month. So they're leaving me stranded. The last time they did this to me, left me stranded like this. A guy took me home and raped me. They locked up the bathroom in 2020. So they said because of COVID. The bathroom in the train station, I couldn't find the bathroom to use. And I was begging people on the train, do they know where I can find the bathroom? And the guy told me to follow him home. In the Bronx, he said, let me use the bathroom. When we got to his house, he said he wanted to get married right away. I told him, no, I'm not looking for a child. I'm looking to sue the U.S. government for arresting me when I was a child. And my mother had a heart attack while my case was going on. Before they finally gave me my green card back, they wrongfully arrested me. I said, I'm not looking to marry anybody, because if you marry somebody, the person can get half of your money, or even kill you, take all of your money. So the guy raped me and beat me and kicked me out of the house. I called police, they wouldn't help me. So it's like they've been sending people to lure me to a romance scam or marriage scam to steal the money. And now that they see the romance scam, marriage scam doesn't work, they just want to kill me and lie. They say dead people tell no tale. So WABC Radio is helping them facilitate the lies. And and they always terrorize me. Anywhere I go, they'll deny me bathroom access. So I normally come and use the bathroom and go to the Dwayne Reed to buy food and use my food stamp card. I'll bring the police there to chase me out of the Dwayne Reed. So they don't want me to have any proof that I'm still in America. I think they may even want to kill me and make it look like, and hide my body and ship my body abroad, me look like I died abroad, and say they're going to send the money abroad, So they just don't want me to. Even I used to shop at the CVS store, and I used to use my CVS card that says my name, and they hired a black American to punch me. And since then, they removed my name from the CVS store card. So since they killed Eric Garner, they want to erase me, and take my ID from me, took my green card, to make it look like, because I'm the only witness that can prove the Eric Garner's death, that can prove the George Floyd death. So they want to, so they've taken all my IDs from me to make it look like I don't even exist in America anymore, and get me deported. I have my mother's daughters move me from America secretly, because now this mayor said he wants to diagnose homeless as crazy, and if they diagnose you as crazy like that, they can just release you to your family member to take you out of America secretly with a fake passport. So just so that the New York City wouldn't have to pay. George Floyd family wouldn't have to pay the Eric Garner family for lies and any cover-up that this is a real terrorist attack. And they did that. The former police commissioner, when my mother said the New York police is terrorizing the black lives and evicting us from our home, they said the police commissioner instructed my mother back by telling the media that some people are losers and live in the basement with their loser child. And then that police commissioner went and got Trump to run for office. My mother knows Hillary Clinton. So they were afraid if Hillary Clinton became president, my mother would get her to investigate. Because my mother matched Eric Garner. My mother was very interested in unlocking the mystery behind Eric Garner's death. Because I told my mother Eric Garner was trying to help me, and they choked him dead. So my mother matched Eric Garner. So they said that's why Trump went to run for office. That same police commissioner, they arrested him, saying he incited the January 6 riots after Trump lost the election to Biden. So I forgot the name of that police commissioner. So I'm a victim of terrorism by the New York City police. My mother has been killed. My friend has been killed, and they're trying to erase me from the system. They didn't want to give me a food stamp card, and they gave me a food stamp card that was been vandalized. They vandalized they dilapidated the benefit card, food stamp benefit card computer system to remove the picture from the card. And and a lot of even with the Red Cross, when they removed me and my mother from my home in 2010, the Red Cross put us in a hotel. Now I reached back to the Red Cross, but they told us me and my mother can come back later if we still need the help. So I've been calling the Red Cross and saying, please, you told me and my mother we can come back. Please, I'm on the street, I need your help. And the Red Cross said they've deleted all my files from the system. I'm like, I have photocopies. They told me, no, we can't take photocopies from you. You're already deleted, gone. Your mother's record is gone forever. So I believe this is why they're removing my picture from the food stamp card. They eventually want to delete my records from the food stamp, and don't want me to have a driver's license, don't want me to have any proof that I'm here. They want me to go away. Because I'm the only living witness that can get this police arrested for killing Eric Garner and George Floyd in a possible terrorism. Just to mock what my mother said. My mother said the police are terrorizing blacks in America, and they began choking us dead with the blacks. They've choked me, and there's some black Americans that come around me and be holding their own toes. Since my mother was killed. So they said that Bellevue Hospital that is a police hospital where they keep prisoners, and they said they normally choke people there also. If you refuse to go to the psychiatric ward after they try to put you in the psychiatric ward. So my mother's daughter set my mother up. God told the hospital to put her in a psychiatric ward. My mother said my daughter's Bolali are trying to kill my mother early. So I said that Bolali is into drugs. I was looking for drug money. So this is what I'm going through. The civil rights groups here don't help me. I'm a Nigerian immigrant. I'm a transsexual. So they mock me. So, and they're trying to hide me. So the WABC radio, they said it works with the NYPD. So as soon as my leg was showing, my socks was showing, on the radio they were saying, dirty socks, shoe, and a white woman came around me and was saying, I know who you are. I was trying to terrorize you. It's the same white woman that called the police up in the bathroom. So they're afraid that maybe somebody may sue and say, look, that person always smells bad and stuff, and they want to sue the city of New York for taking my home. And they say they have ridiculous laws here in New York City, which is unjust enrichment. There's a law that you can sue over anything, and claim this New York City had a duty to provide me a home, and they didn't provide me a home, and my shoe was always smelly. And so they're afraid people may sue the city of New York in the future. Even if they kill me, get rid of me, they're afraid that some people that are aware about my situation and may want to monetize it for themselves. They don't really want to help me, but they want to use my situation to make money for themselves. So they're trying to, they always chase me away whenever there's camera. So my mother was saying the police is terrorizing blacks. Since then, my mother has been killed. Eric Garner is supposed to help me, and my mother has been choked dead. The police come and choke me. So I'm a Nigerian, and I'm being terrorized, and the whole world is to investigate this. The role that NYC police commissioner, I forgot his name, is friends with Trump. And said they arrested that former police commissioner when he went and he said he spearheaded the January 6th insurrection against Biden. He said, they arrested him and Trump for inciting the January 6th insurrection. He also went to prison for some another corruption. So it was lying. It was the head of the police union, and so it was stealing money from his fellow police officers. So that shows you how much he cares about the law in America. It's like they're all just out to make name and gain for themselves only, and they don't care how many people get killed. For their mafia, they're just there to get ill-gotten wealth. So anytime my shit is showing like this, they'll be all up in arms, telling people to harass me and chase me away. They don't want me to sit near camera. And also, I guess one of the reasons why they want to chase me away from the bathroom is after I use the bathroom in the station downstairs, I'll go and use my food stamp card. So they believe, when they believe they want to kill me and steal money and claim I'm in a sex cult, and then, have my mother's daughters take over my estate and give the money to the sex cult, which I'm not a member of any sex cult, and share it among the politicians. But they're afraid if I keep using the bathroom here and keep using my food stamp at the Dwayne Reed 2 blocks away from here, people can sue also that, I was a member of the sex cult and we normally meet to the bathroom, and they want part of the money also, or claim anything. So they're trying to erase any possible, any possible opposition or adversary that may show up. So they plan to kill me eventually and steal all my money. They said there was a U.S. politician under Obama, governor of Illinois. He was arrested because he was into some corruption. So they said it's not uncommon for the politicians here, like Eric Adams, to be arrested for corruption, stealing money. They said this Eric Adams was arrested when he was like 12 years old for prostitution type activity. It was a pervert or whatever, engaging in child prostitution. It was organizing prostitution among adults as a 12-year-old kid. And they said beat up one of the adults, that refused to pay him. So now he's back out of prison as the mayor, the first black, is the second black American mayor, and they said the Bloomberg, who was the mayor at the time, the police was terrorizing blacks, and the federal court told him to control his police. They said, hire this Eric Adams to become mayor again. So to give them all a clean slate, I think they plans to kill me, and they keep antagonizing me. Don't let me use the bathroom. Hired an African in this station, standing on a ferry, and she was doing her like a punch towards me when I'm trying to use the bathroom. This morning, May 27, 2025, I was trying to use the bathroom on him, and they went and look up all the bathrooms, male bathroom and female bathroom. So there's been a problem in the bathroom. They just find ways to antagonize me, to drive me crazy. And they hire white to taunt me also. I said, why is she sleeping? She and some other people sleep over there. And she always comes around me, try to get the police to arrest me. So I'm exposing that the terrorism going on in which my mother has been killed, and regarding helping my mother has been killed, and they're antagonizing me as a foreigner. So the international criminal court needs to look into this. This is like a extortion, racketeering gang that comprised of U.S. politicians, in which they're trying to steal money through fraud by killing an immigrant like me and claiming I'm in a sex cult and siphoning the money to the sex cult through my mother's daughters possibly. So they've been bringing their police to harass me everywhere. They said normally if the police kills you, like Diallo, who was killed by the police, a West African immigrant, they don't give money to any family member, and then they can share the money. So they said that the black lives here don't matter, especially you're an immigrant and transsexual as well. So this is real horror. My mother was saying, our daughters are out of control, Bolanle. They're into, inheritance scam, killing people for money, Bolanle and Flora. I thought my mother was just exaggerating. Until they killed my mother, I was like, I'm next on the hit list. My mother asked all about, but she's not dead. The whole world is to investigate this. This is like a living nightmare. So I'm not saving any country. I've contacted the Nigerian embassy. They didn't help me. They said in 2014, after they killed Oregona, blew up my apartment, there's a Nigerian church I go to, me and my mother should go to, synagogue church. The pastor said he saw a plane on top of his building, and the plane was around his building, and the plane bombed his building. Many Nigerians died. Pastor Joshua and a Russian military plane, so they saw an American plane, military plane, leave a German air base, go to Nigeria and blow up the Nigerian church. You know, so everybody can be crazy. Pastor Joshua is not dead. So they said the U.S. is sponsoring terrorism against blacks and Africans. Since my mother called the U.S. police a terrorist organization, NYPD, terrorizing black lives. You know, there's been so many evidence that Eric Garner was struck dead. My mother in Nigeria called the New York police a terrorist organization, killing blacks. And since then, Eric Garner has been choked dead. Eric Garner mentioned the Floyd versus City of New York case when I spoke with him in 2014. And soon after, they killed a guy named Floyd in Brooklyn, New York. In Brooklyn, Minnesota, he was telling me there's a case in Brooklyn court in which they will favor me. I said there was just an innocent bystander in Brooklyn, Minnesota, and the police took him dead. I said that guy, George Floyd, had a drug history, and his family said they should that the police targeted him just to kill him as a ritual killing, possibly. You know, that was all his life is worth. And the black American groups that don't help me as a Nigerian, I have evidence that could possibly link that the blacks have been terroristically killed by the NYPD, you know, and the people like what's his name? He's a Caribbean American public advocate, Jumaane Williams, wouldn't help me. I post videos regularly. He claims he cares about immigrant rights. Here I am, the police arrested me, choked me, they were trying to kill me. Like Eric Garner in 2019, they choked me July 23rd on a place called Berry Avenue on 4th Avenue around 8 p.m., you know. And the people recorded it on camera. I would tell the police to stop choking me. I could have died if not for the innocent bystanders, you know. And I have the video on my YouTube. So many terrorism, and this Jumaane Williams is the public advocate of New York, and he's supposed to help me investigate this. It's not helping them to sending videos. Just like some of the Caribbean Americans and some of the black Americans don't really care, you know, to help an African get justice, even if it means they won't get justice for their fellow Caribbeans and black Americans. So some black Americans and Caribbeans don't like Africans. They said Africans sold their ancestors into slavery. So, you know, I'm just being victimized over and over again. So international community needs to investigate this. Why, you know, they want to remove me from the system and deport me and kill me and share the money among the dirty politicians and use my mother's daughters as intermediary or any of my family member. I'm not close to any family member. When my mother was alive, she reached out to a family member. My mother has a sister here also who came here from England. You know, she used to stay in England. She's from Nigeria. So I believe they may possibly want to use her. You know, my mother said she doesn't trust any of the family members because she approached all her family members while me and my mother were homeless here in America. Please don't touch me, you scared me. No, don't touch me, I wasn't. You know, so it looks like it might be a Nigerian. I don't know why they always have these Nigerians grab me. There's another Nigerian called Yemi Asalu. He used to live in Canada. All of a sudden he came and touched me while I was sleeping. You know, I used to talk with them when I was having my immigration case. And I told him my immigration case was getting bad. My mother had a heart problem, and George Bush was deporting people. Then he told me he has to stop talking with me. That he's not really interested in other Nigerians. He only likes black American men that are muscular basketball players. And he stopped talking with me. And after I got my green card, and I wrote a letter to the Daily News that, look, I just got my green card back from immigration, but now my Nigerian passport is still with immigration. And then the Daily News published it online. So I guess this Yemi Asalu was doing a Google search of my name and found that I got my green card back. That's when he called me. He sent me an email that he wants to be friends again with me. His father just died. So I'm like, oh wow, so you're fair weather friends, so I never trusted him. But I reached out to him after 2010 when the police took my home. Because he's a lawyer and he told me he wanted to come to America to continue his law practice. And he told me he was going to help me and my mother get her home back. He was going to represent me. Then he went silent again. I was waiting for him. Then my mother's daughters killed my mother. You know, so I'm trying to sue him also for wrongful death for my mother, because he helped me and my mother. You know, my mother would have escaped. The city of New York would have paid us money. All of a sudden, as I'm planning to sue him, he shows up in America and he touched me. I'm like, who's giving this people my surveillance information? Especially people that look like Nigerians. You know, some of them tell me to lure me, saying I should go back to Nigeria. I said, no. You want me to be killed in Nigeria as a transsexual, and then they will make claims. I think some people are trying to deport me back to Nigeria and rape me. I'm a transsexual and have women rape me and kill me off and get the American police to send them money. Say they need money for the child welfare. So I claim I'm now dead. So I believe they said the Nigerian government is broke looking for American dollars. So there's somebody, there were people there's a particular guy, his name is Emmanuel, and he was contacting me in 2020, so I should come to Nigeria. I should just come and stay there. I'm like, I'm a transsexual, I wouldn't be safe in Nigeria. He said, no, it doesn't matter, just come. So I'm like, why is this guy telling me to come to Nigeria when, Nigeria's not even safe? It's like all kinds of terrorism is happening there, and as a transsexual, I wouldn't be safe. So I believe my mother said they did that to her also. She won money for a lawsuit. There was lead poisoning in her home, and she sued. After she got the money, like $40,000, she was like, people in Nigeria, a family member, including my father, told her to bring out the money to Nigeria. So she went back to Nigeria, and at the airport, they told her, you're under arrest. You brought, you brought a lot of cash to Nigeria, and you didn't declare it properly. My mother said, no, I left the money in America, I didn't bring the money to Nigeria. So they sent my mother to be arrested so they could steal the $40,000 from her they just won. Because they said, you can't travel with cash to Nigeria. You have to, it's called money laundering. So my mother said that the customs officer now went to my father. It's like, you told us this man was going to bring us money so we can steal it. I said they were roughing my father up. So I said it happens a lot in Nigeria whereby corrupt family members, any money you're entitled to, they will kill you and take the money. So they've been trying to lure me, even as my mother's daughter, Funke, she also told me to come to Nigeria. She has to come to Nigeria. And I think I saw her in Queens. And she wouldn't say nothing to me. And she was telling me, doing this signal, I'm under FBI surveillance, so I guess she doesn't want to be caught on the FBI surveillance, telling me to come to Nigeria or whatever, so they can, in case I die and somebody wants to investigate it, so they can arrest her. So it's like they want to lure me to my death in Nigeria. And that guy looks like my all this just gravity. I'm like a money, what do they call it? I'm like a money, well, I don't know the English word for it. I'm like a cash cow. Why the black Americans are getting killed? The Nigerian government wouldn't help in 2019 when the police arrested me, put me in the psych ward. I contacted the Daily News. I contacted the Nigerian government, and they promised help, and they didn't help me. So I'm like a cash cow. Hey, would you be allowing me to come back to Nigeria? Even my mother's daughter, Funke, she came here to America around 2022, 21. I saw her in Queens late at night, in the afternoon, and she was telling me, do the hand signal, go back. I'm like, why is she not saying nothing? Why is she just doing hand signal? And I was so scared. I was like, so it's like they want to lure me to Nigeria to kill me and make cash. My mother's been killed. My mother's daughters were part of an international type money ring, fraud ring. And now the U.S. government is aligning with foreigners and giving them visa to come here. My mother said that daughter Funke is so dangerous. She tried to kill me when I was a baby. And that's what my mother never fought a green card for. Since my mother's died now, the U.S. government is giving visas to that Funke. So in case I get killed, I'm under FBI surveillance. They have their satellite camera watching me. They said they do this for immigrants that have been arrested, watching with their satellite camera. They did to Osama bin Laden also. So, since COVID started, people should ask the FBI to submit all my satellite video camera footage, and they'll see that's Funke. After COVID started, between 2021 to 2024, I saw her in Queens, and she was doing her hand signal like me, and I saw her in a different location, so I don't really speak with her, but I'm sure the U.S. government gave her a visa, and the U.S. immigration record will show she came to America between 2021 and 2024. I don't communicate with her anymore. That's how I know. I saw her twice, and she was trying to lure me back to Nigeria. So people in Nigeria also that would name Emmanuel Umar tell me to come back to Nigeria. I think they're just trying to kill me and tell the American government to send every money to Nigeria that have been killed or whatever, and and to break me. And, to say, once you're killed, because I suffered here in America from the police taking my home, and from the U.S. immigration arrested me wrongfully. So they're trying to lure me to Nigeria to rape me as a gay person and make money. So the Nigerian government is broke. And some black Americans have been killed also, as the police is terrorizing me, and the black American that wants to help me was terrorized and killed. So this is the new black law, to kill people and rape them and collect money on their behalf. So this is sad. This is a sad day. Where blacks are being killed in America, and the Nigerian government wants to lure me back to Nigeria and get me raped and get the money for themselves. They believe this is a cash cow, and this is good white money. That they believe the best way to get money is to have the white police hurt people in America, and you can feign a relationship or get family member to get the money and spread the money, share the money. So this is money laundering, and it's a shame. So FIFA America is not safe. Please reconsider the decision to host the World Cup here and ask for an investigation. As the U.S. is going to investigate this. So this World Cup in New York in 2026 should be put on suspension. Have evidence, of terrorists in Nigeria coming here to America to attack me, and the U.S. government has to investigate this and arrest that soon can arrest my mother's daughters, and it's like an international, money laundering ring. They send people of different nationalities to try to lure me into fake romance, fake marriage. A guy took me to his home in the Bronx and he wants to get married, by the way. So, I believe that guy would have eventually killed me. Soon after he started punching me, he said he has a gun also. So they were to make it look like I died in a bad marriage, and whoever, gets the money will share it among the other fraud syndicates. So it's international racketeering gang, and they have dirty politicians in America. So they terrorize me and tell me to move away from camera. So that white lady that came to bother me, they need to arrest her. Today's May 27, 2025. It's around 6 a.m. They don't want me to be near camera. Anytime I'm near camera, the WABC radio, they will say, cut, get out of there. On the radio. I'm like, are the radio hosts crazy? So they don't want me to be anywhere near camera because they're afraid people passing by me say my legs stink. And as a lawyer in New York, you can sue for anything under the law, called unjust enrichment. Because the city of New York is supposed to provide me a hotel room. There's a court order since the 1990s. So now anybody can just sue. That my legs stink so bad, and they had to go vomit at home and miss their work day and get money for unjust enrichment. Because the people pay taxes, and the court has ordered the city of New York to provide people like me vacated from our homes with hotel room, and the city of New York refused to provide hotel room. So this is what they're worried about. So they form a fraud syndicate, people from Nigeria, people from other ethnicities, and whoever can get me killed first, I guess will get a bigger share of the money, and they can share the money with their other rival gangs or whatever, so everybody will keep quiet. So this is bad. Pastor T.B. Joshua, before his church was bombed in the 1990s, he said God showed him that America was going to turn to a place whereby you'll be enslaving immigrants for money. I said people shouldn't go to America, and he said it has since happened. My mother said her daughters were trying to kill her, Blondie and Flora and Funke, I would think, for money, and my mother's not dead. Within a year, she telling me that my mother's not dead. And I guess I'm the next person they're targeting. So please, this has to be investigated. There's a fraud gang killing black Americans like my friend Eric Garner, George Floyd. Possibly, George Floyd have been killed in connection to this police gang into killing people for money. And I'm being targeted next. So this is what is going on.